Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is May the 6th, 2024. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. I had a pretty Garfield Monday. We got that lasagna today. If you know, you know. There was no complaints. It was rainy today. It was rainy on my way into work, mildly rainy on my way out of work. So a little overcast. That was the word I was trying to say, not overclassed. That's not a word. But overall we had a good day. But thinking on the food corner from Sunday, let's go ahead and get into that. I ate real big. I probably too big. I definitely got on the scale and saw I was like, ugh, I undid all of my good work over the past week or so. But it's okay. It was worth it. I ate a lot over the weekend and I finished on a big note. So what did I eat? I guess to the average person, this is probably not like a super good meal, but to me, it was really yummy. I made my normal, I guess you could say Asian inspired meal. I'm trying not to say that without being weird, but let's see. I had y'all know how I have my Korean fried chicken, right? I usually go with that. That's been my staple for a bit. It's a little bit of a shortage, so we went back to the PF Chang's in the bag, but I never really ate it. I was kind of holding out on it. So I wind up stockpiling a little bit. So I have that, and then I also have this PF Chang's in a bag, and I'm like, I'm gonna eat them both same night with some rice. Let's just go in. I also have a bit of the egg wash left, so I kind of thought I was gonna be cooking and make a little bit of an egg foo young thing out of the PF Chang noodle situation, and I went with that. Now it didn't exactly visually accomplish what I wanted, but it was nicer to have the egg in there, but it made it like a heavier dish, So there was that. And I also had some egg rolls. Overall, it was just like a really good meal. It was just so much food. I got through most of it, so I felt, overall good about that, I guess. I didn't feel too wasteful. But yeah, it was nice, I guess, kind of putting them both together and seeing what would happen. Definitely, I don't think I would do that again because of the waste. It didn't feel like too good. And then also getting on the scale the next day and being like, oh my God, why did I eat all that? But, it was tasty. It was good. All right. I've talked a little bit too long about my food, about my day. But, that's part of the podcast, right? That comes with the territory. Hopefully you don't hate that I yap for a couple minutes or so about myself. And if so, you can always press fast forward and then get to me, butchering the current events or whatever. But yeah, let's go ahead and do the nice sweet in between where we do our startup. Hopefully you take one with me, why not? It's a Monday, you deserve it. Ease in, kick back a little bit before we get into this, heavy stuff. Ooh-wee. Okay. My first story comes from the Associated Press. Hamas accepts Gaza ceasefire. Israel says, excuse me, it will continue talks but launches strikes in Rafah. Hamas announced its acceptance Monday of an Egyptian Qatari ceasefire proposal, but Israel said the deal did not meet its core demands, and it was pushing ahead with an assault on the southern Gaza town of Rafah. Still, Israel said it would continue negotiations. This shit is so fucking backwards to me, and I'm still trying to make heads or tails of it, but, let's continue. The high-stakes diplomatic moves and military brinksmanship left a glimmer of hope alive, but only barely, for an accord that could bring at least a pause in the 7th-month war that has devastated the Gaza Strip. Hanging over the wrangling was the threat of an all-out assault on Rafah, a move that the United States strongly opposes, and that aid groups warn would be disastrous for some 1.4 million Palestinians taking refuge there. Also, something I wanted to add to just, things going on. They've like officially announced that like in the northern area of Gaza, like famine has officially like you can categorize this as a full blown famine. Even though I would say that you could do this more or less, months before. I mean, people have been starving in Gaza, since this shit started, and aid has been deprived of them. Shit's always been scarce and scant, and it's just been even worse. And now they're worrying that from the north, that famine is going to spread, further down. But meanwhile, we have this pressing of Rafah, the situation where literally everyone has now been bottlenecked, have been pushed into this. They've moved several fucking times. They have nowhere else to go. They can't move north. There's still, heavy fighting and risk of losing your life. You can't even go back to your home. So, like, where are you going to go? Which is something that America has been pushing to Israel, saying like, hey, like, look, we're backing your play here all the way to the hilt, but like, we got to tell you that we don't approve of this. You got to come up with a place to put these people. And they've just been kind of shrugging and saying, well, we got to get these battalions out of there. We got to get these Hamas battalions out of there. Don't you see? We have to have this completion of this war. We have to have a total victory. And they've just been bombing and bombing. Like that's been a nonstop thing. In fact, 22 people have died, like as of Monday. I think it was early or late Monday, where there was a strike. So it's crazy that this is happening. And meanwhile, we're supposed to be talking peace. And a lot of talk over the past week or so, a lot of pressure has been put on Hamas. I've heard Antony Blinken, Defense Secretary or whatever the fuck, he's been saying like, hey, this is on Hamas. Hamas needs to agree to the ceasefire pact that Israel has put up. They've made a lot of concessions, and Hamas needs to agree with this. But then you look at it and like, there's still this ceasefire, right? And it's like, okay, well, what exactly is this ceasefire supposed to mean, right? This is very fucking important. And to Israel, they want a 6 week ceasefire. 6 weeks. They want 6 weeks, and they get back to it. They get back into action. They get into Rafah, and they blow shit up, and they start killing people. That's what they want. And for Hamas, they're like, no, this isn't going to work. We want to do the swap part, of course. We want prisoners released, but we want something that's more lasting than 6 weeks. And I think that's been the big reason why they've been holding out. So they finally, when Israel says, you know what, fuck it, we're just going to fucking, issue the fucking leaflets. And I might be getting this timing out of order or what have you. But they issue these leaflets. At the same time, I'm hearing, okay, wait. We do agree. We want the ceasefire. But then Israel goes, we don't care. We don't agree now. It doesn't, what you guys are agreeing to isn't with our core. Now, we don't know, I guess, if somewhere in between what America has said, hey, this is what we thought was good, everyone's good with this, Hamas should agree, and now if the deal has changed at some point, I don't fucking know, or if this is just some fucking finagling from Israel to be like, yo, we want to juice this shit and just kill a couple more people. Like, and by a couple, I mean as many as we fucking can until we actually have to abide. Like they're calling it brinksmanship in the article, but I feel like that's not what that is. Like, you just want to get some more fucking kills in, and that's insane. That's sinister as fuck. So yeah, but meanwhile, I still feel like, media outlets, and you still have like, American top brass trying to scramble to make this somehow like, no, Hamas is still the bad guy in this somehow, some way. So yeah, I mean, this is still relevant, obviously, because, you have Hamas saying, look, we agree, we're down. And I think there was celebration and people were really happy about that, myself included. But then you still have this like, well, if Israel is not going to abide by the terms that they fucking just agreed to, sorry, I hit the fucking computer, getting a little too excited, then what do we have here? Like, what's going on? So I'm hoping to make more heads or tails of this. Obviously, this is some breaking news. It just hit today. I know I kind of missed the mark. I was supposed to be talking to you guys about the ceasefire yesterday, and I just kind of didn't. I mean, it skipped my mind, one, and plus, I just don't believe that Israel's going to actually abide by any of this fucking shit, or it's going to hold. I just don't believe it. I guess if I was doing my due diligence, I would tell you that, I think it was yesterday or so, Hamas did launch a missile strike, and that happened, and there was, loss of life there. But yeah, I mean, this is a mess. It's crazy. It's fucking tumultuous ass shit. I don't know how else to word it as an amateur podcaster motherfucker. I don't know. But I really do hope that we can at least get something. obviously, personally, I want a permanent fucking ceasefire. This should be enough. Over 34,000 people have died. 34,000 Palestinians have died. And you could, run the script and tell motherfuckers about October 7th and how 1,200 motherfuckers died and yada, yada, yada. I get it. I know. I understand. But, when is it going to stop? And this is why, it's so hard for people to be like, yeah, I can't ignore the ethnic cleansing you're doing here. I just can't ignore the genocide. Because what are you doing? This isn't defense. It's not defense. This isn't saving Israel anything. And I'm sorry, anyone backing that play knows it. You fucking know it. Nothing in this fucking script shows you otherwise. I'm sorry. Nothing that you're seeing here, I should say. And people are trying to, stick to the script that they have as Zionists, and I don't get it. I mean, I do. I do get it. It's not surprising to me anymore. It's just so fucking frustrating how people can just, clock into this mentality day in, day out, and just, Amy Schumer their way through their fucking existence. It's fucking crazy. But yeah, I know. I'm starting off this fucking episode heavy. And let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. I feel like I've said it. Let's go ahead and next article is from Politico. Let's pull from there. Russia detains U.S. soldier on charges of theft. Wow. What did he steal? Excuse me. The Russian government detained a U.S. soldier last week, on charges of theft, according to 2 U.S. officials. The soldier, a staff sergeant who is stationed in South Korea, was arrested last Thursday, said one of the officials, who was granted anonymity to discuss a sensitive incident. The soldier had traveled to Russia to meet a woman, possibly his girlfriend, the official said. The State Department is in touch with the Russian government about the case, the official said, adding that the soldier had been given a pre-trial detention until July 1st. After the story was published, Army spokesperson Cynthia Smith confirmed the Russian authorities detained the soldier in Vladivostok on charges of criminal misconduct. The Army notified the soldier's family, she said. The Russian Federation notified the U.S. Department of State of the criminal detention in accordance with the Vienna Convention consular relations, Smith said in a statement. Given the sensitivity of this matter, we are unable to provide additional details at this time. I imagine there's going to be more details coming down the pipe here. Granted, even in this article, they really didn't do the thing that a lot of articles will do, kind of bring back a touchstone, a little flashback for you. There was no talk of Evan Gershowitz or Paul Whelan. But, I mean, this is, kind of a classic play. You can say, by Russia, but all nations do this kind of shit, I feel like. At the end of the day, you are either doing one, upholding your laws, and you're really trying to be stringent and making an example out of anyone and everyone, or you're doing the thing where you want to get another bargaining chip. And, this guy seems to fit the fucking bill. Obviously very unfortunate. This guy wanted just to go maybe see his girlfriend, lady love, whatever, and now he is a political pawn. Sucks. I know this sounds crazy, but these are things that factor into my big reasons for why I do not travel. I do not go anywhere. It takes a lot for me to even leave 30 minutes outside of my house, okay? Some might say it's on agoraphobia, but I'm out a lot, okay? Look, I tell y'all guys all my little exploits on the weekend, okay? And yeah, sure, maybe that's not too far, but still, I'm going outside. But yeah, no, I am scared to go international. I'm scared to go to another country, and next thing you know, oh shit, there's a coup happening, or oh shit, I'm a part of a political fucking web of intrigue, and now I'm arrested, and some fucking podcasters talking shit about me. So yeah, no, these are things that keep me in my home, in my state, in my city, okay? Don't get me wrong. Also, poverty. But yeah, obviously, hopefully I can bring you some more details on the soldier, and, hopefully he gets out, because that would suck. I would not want to be trying to go to Russia to, once again, see my lady love, and the next thing you know, I'm behind bars, locked up for love. Yeesh. All right, speaking of lockup, let's talk about another issue that caught my attention that I wanted to cover. Sorry, I have a mosquito bite that I got the other day from walking around, and it's just now getting activated. From The Guardian, David McBride. Commonwealth prosecutors seek jail sentence for Australian defense whistleblower. Now I wanted to add that I just a reference. I immediately saw this and saw that what is it? Boy had already did some coverage on it, so I would suggest that you go look up the YouTuber Boy and go ahead. It's like less than 30 minutes. It's super informative on the thing I'm about to talk about. It gives you a lot more details, but this was a pretty moving story to me. I know we just talked about freedom of press and things like that. I know we've also talked about WikiLeaks. Was it Julian Assange and his situation? These kind of hit notes of that to me, and I just really felt compelled to really like talk about it. And after I watched the YouTube from Boy, I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely like one up my alley, but two definitely worth talking about and like spreading information about. The Commonwealth wants to see Army whistleblower David McBride in jail for more than 2 years for his role in leaking secret defense documents on the Afghanistan war to the media, a court has heard. A sentence hearing on Monday, a decade after McBride first began secretly taking classified documents from the Australian Defence Force, where he worked as an army lawyer. The Commonwealth's counsel, Trish MacDonald, said McBride's actions amounted to egregious conduct and affected how defense conducted some operations as well as Australia's relations with allies. MacDonald told the court McBride knew his behavior was deceptive and that his decision to leak classified documents to the media before a defense watchdog handed down its final report into his allegations reflected a level of arrogance. McBride pleaded guilty to 3 charges in November after the Act Supreme Court upheld a Commonwealth intervention to withhold key evidence it deemed as having the potential to jeopardize the security and defense of Australia if released. Also, I feel like that's something that even kind of helped America, which is kind of involved here because we're talking about actions that took place in Afghanistan, something that was an American, U.S. spearheaded operation, but we dragged motherfuckers like, Britain or UK, whatever. We dragged Australia into, and I think Australia especially kind of rose up to the call of being like, hey, we really need some motherfuckers to do some dirty work, bust heads, I don't know, kill people, do fuck shit. We need to really handle some shit in the area and, not really worry about getting your hands dirty. And, Australia said, okay, we volunteer as tribute and had some of their, forces do the knocking around. And some of these brutal ass motherfuckers just got to get away with literal murder. Just like, hey, there's this fucking shepherd boy. I'm going to blow his brains out. And the cover then became, oh, it wasn't a shepherd boy. It was actually a bunch of Taliban resistance fighters, and we had to kill them. We had to do all this fucking fucked up shit to them. And then, once this shit gets found out, they're like, oh, we are in trouble. We need to get a pound of flesh. We need to get some bodies. We need to get some scapegoats. And so they found some. And McBride sees all this and it's like, no, I'm not okay with it. This isn't fucking right. And essentially starts giving information to like an Australian branch of the ABC or whatever. And this blows up. It becomes a whole fucking fire show. But granted, I say that, it gets a lot of attention, documentaries and shit gets made, but no one really gets brought to justice. No one gets brought to justice, except for David McBride, for essentially telling the truth about what happened. The story definitely kind of gets twisted and warped, where it's like, oh, well, he's trying to defend this one guy, a guy who was getting scapegoated, and essentially he's like, well, he's finding out this other stuff to cover up other bad acts and stuff like that. It's a shame to see this guy's name get dragged through the mud for literally doing the right fucking thing, for seeing a problem and standing up for it. That's something a lawyer's supposed to fucking do, goddammit. And so once I saw this was actually making big headlines and seeing like, damn, like this guy literally is facing the rest of his life in jail. I'm hoping that it's closer to the lower sentence of 2 years. Just because it's like, God damn it, dude. Like, this seems like a guy who's on the level. Oh, and let me get into it. Just pulling kind of from the Boy video. But he was laying on the lam. Like, he was living on the lam in, like, Spain or some shit. He was living on the low. But he has a family, right? Like, had a whole family he had to leave behind to tell the fucking truth. And it was like a father-daughter dance. and he was gonna miss it, and he could tell that this was something that was gonna break his daughter's heart. So he made time to go do that. And for doing that, like out of like straight out of a fucking movie, he gets fucking done up, they bag his ass, and now, you know, he's facing jail time. So he didn't have to fucking do this shit. He didn't have to do any of this shit. But this is just a dude who's just trying to be the best guy he could be. You know what I mean? And hearing his story, like a guy who's like, look, dude, I just thought like I was doing the right thing for my country. Like, you know what I mean? I thought I was doing the right thing, and then I get into all this shit and I see what's going on, and then I see like I can't stand it. I can't just be silent. A guy like that shouldn't be going to goddamn jail. You feel me? Like, fuck it. Like, what are you talking about the fucking rules here? Like, all of a sudden these guys care about the fucking rules. Once again, a guy literally murdered a fucking shepherd boy and got to get away with it. Live the rest of his life out just fine. Like, this is such a subversion of what the fucking law is supposed to be to me. So, you know, once I saw this shit for real, I just had to get into it. So, here we are. Anyway, we have one more thing I wanted to cover, and it's good news, somewhat. You know, we gotta get through some bad to get to the good. There's a silver lining in this playbook. But yeah, let's go ahead and take our last break. Let's reconnoiter, and we'll get into it. All right. All right, we're back. A missing New Mexico infant has been found, and a suspect in her disappearance is in custody, FBI says. Ooh. A 10-month a 10-month-old girl a 10-month-old girl, police said, was abducted Friday from a New Mexico park where her mother and another woman were discovered dead, has been found, and a suspect is in custody, the FBI announced Monday morning. The Bureau did not provide further details on Elia Maria Torres' condition, and the suspect was not immediately named. Elia's 5-year-old sister was also found injured at the park and is recovering, police said Sunday. Investigators discovered the infant was missing after responding to a call shortly before 4:30 p.m. Friday. Excuse me. Ooh, that was terrible. Friday, about 2 women found dead at the park near Clovis, a city in eastern New Mexico that is more than 200 miles east of Albuquerque and about 100 miles southwest of Amarillo, Texas. The women, both 23, were found with apparent gunshot wounds on the ground near a minivan, the police statement said. They were identified by investigators as Samantha Cisneros, Elia's mother, and Taryn Allen. The 5-year-old was found suffering from an injury to her head, police said, and was rushed to the hospital for treatment. The fathers of both children have been working with the investigation team, police said at a news conference Sunday. At the scene, officers also discovered an infant car seat, an infant stroller, and a small baby bottle at the scene and began searching for a young child, police said. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad that they were able to, find the baby. That's good. And I'm glad that they have the suspect. That's good. I'm hoping to provide you with some more details, like a motive or things like that. Kind of segueing out of this into, some previous news, talking about the 3 men who were found dead in Mexico. They were able to confirm the bodies officially. They were found in a well, which is part of the reason why they were hard to get out. Also, it was believed to be the motivation was a robbery. They wanted the tires off of the truck that the guys were driving, and they were trying to get the tires off, I guess while they were like away, and they come and they check it out and they're like, what are you guys doing? And then they get murdered. So yeah, I mean, that's unfortunate. Just kind of dropping a little bit of that there, a little previous news there. But kind of back to the story with Torres, and just with the murders of the mothers. If any more details in terms of like with the suspect or anything like that, I'll try to let you guys know. But I am at least happy to hear that the 10-month-old and the 5-year-old, at least the children, that they are going to be making it. They are safe. So that is what I have for today. That is the news. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, at least financially, I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/Isaiah News. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Also, free ways to contact me, hit me up, or the podcast, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. And let's see, hopefully you can subscribe to the YouTube. Really happy to say we hit 69 subscribers on the Spotify. It was really nice to see that number, kind of share about that on my Facebook. That was cool. Trying to get my plays up. We're getting there too with 69,000, or not 69,000. I think it's 6,900, something like that. Whatever. I'm happy to see that number. That I'll take it. Whatever. Growth is growth, right? Even if it's just by little baby steps. But yeah, also, subscribing to the YouTube really does help. Hitting the thumbs up, leaving positive reviews are very useful for the algorithms and whatnot. And it just makes you feel good to see. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a vain motherfucker. So, puts a smile on my face. But yeah, I mean, truly, just listening really does mean a lot. I really love just being able to talk about the news and having people come back to me and give me feedback about it, or just simply talk about news with me, to me, whatever. I love it. It really just makes my day. So hopefully we can do that, some more again sometime. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.